Welcome to spiritguides.co.uk network radio. This week's guest is Gordon Smith, an outstandingly accurate medium. He is renowned for his ability to give exact names of people, places and even streets. The seventh son of a seventh son, Gordon travels around the world to appear before audiences. Gordon's extraordinary skills have attracted the attention of university scientists researching the paranormal and countless numbers of journalists and documentary makers. Just want to say a very warm welcome to Gordon Smith on the spiritguides.co.uk network radio. It's great to have you on here, Gordon.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be there.
Thank you very much. Just before we get going, I've just got some things I just need to notify the listeners of. You've got a brand new website, is that right?
I do. It's gordonsmithmedium.com.
Okay, and also I've been asked to mention you've got some book signings coming up as well in the near future.
Yeah, I do. I always do book signings when I'm doing my theatre tour anyway, but right. I have a couple of book signings. One up in, I think it's Barrow and Furness, I'm doing a book signing, and one up in Clondidno. Okay, so is this your new book? No, this is the latest book. It's not brand new. Now, I did a tour with that less than a year ago. It's called Why Do Bad Things Happen? Right.
That's a good question, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that I answered it. I did my best.
I mean, how can you answer that in an optimistic way to give comfort to people?
Well, I think the great thing for me was that I could show people that even though a lot of people that I encounter in my work as a medium, a lot of them have a terrible tragedy, but stand up and actually turn their life around and become something even bigger and better in the face of death and loss and things. So that was kind of the theme of it. Was to show that, bad things do happen in this life because we're human and bad things can happen to us. Some, they are our fault that we can change our ways and our behaviours and things and make it less painful. Some that are bigger than us, way above us, and there's not a damn thing we can do about them.
Yeah, sure. Do you ascribe to the philosophy that there's certain obstacles that are kind of put in our way for us to learn from anyway?
Oh, absolutely. And again, that is part of this book is about learning that where somebody sort of takes their eye off the ball, then something bad may happen that they don't see. So, I mean, it's being responsible for your own life, your own path, and basically not using God to blame. Most people who believe in a God or a creator blame that person or that God or that entity. Why did you take my child when basically, no, you weren't looking and the kid ran across the road? You see, there's things that happen that we can actually, if we are mindful enough, we can change. So hopefully that the message is that if something happens like that in your life, it turns you around, it wakens you up. That one of the big things for me in the book was a statement that I kept saying was wake up and smell the karma. If somebody's a victim constantly of the same kind of circumstance that is negative, then at some point we have to look at it and think, am I creating this? Am I attracting it? Can one person constantly go through the exact same patterns and experience the same things year after year after year without waking up and actually recognising how can I change this? It's
interesting because a few years ago I bought, I think it was the CD Introduction to the Spirit World.
Yeah.
And it was kind of the first time that I'd really sort of was aware that how philosophical you actually are. And I think you made a point in that saying that you'd almost wish you were a philosopher.
Oh, I think the teaching side of it, yeah. Sorry, I think the teaching side, maybe more than the philosophical, is that, because so many people don't see the obvious. And that's understandable because a lot of people really are so busy focused on where they're going that they forget where they are. And a lot of the times what clairvoyance means is clear seeing. So I would assume that a lot of my job is to see the obvious, see clearly. And kind of direct people accordingly. I hope I do that.
So do you see a lot of your own pathway? Because is it common knowledge that if you're a medium, you don't generally read for yourself?
Oh, no, well, you don't. I mean, I never do. But one of the development that I do, I feel like my own lessons in life, and I've been in the development group for 20-odd years now. And so therefore I have to take responsibility for my own actions. So I have to be awake and aware for me. And I think when you do that, when you start to take responsibility for your own life, some people out there will think, oh, well, I'll just keep praying to God or an angel or a guide or something like that. And there's only so much guidance you can get without you having to take the reins of that journey. So part of my development is for me to actually take responsibility. And I don't always get it right. very often I have to get the bad lesson before I actually wake up and think, could have done that one better. But where we grow spiritually is when we learn not to repeat the same mistakes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I was just having a quick look at your new website as well, and I was reading a dream on there. I wasn't sure if it was a recent dream that you had, because I'm not sure how often the content's updated. But the kind of crux of it, you were saying,
North America.
yeah, and you were saying about sort of doing hard work, getting out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
It was quite an important message. Do you
Absolutely.
see? Would you think that's a message that you wanted to give to other people, or do you? Because I couldn't help thinking, was it about you in that message? Like, do you think you're going to end up being big in America? I mean, are you big already over there?
Well, I mean, I toured America for several years, but I mean, you have to do something exceptional to actually reach that size of audience. But recently I have actually been out there doing pilots for different TV shows and things. So if that's my destiny, and funnily enough, these things happened since I had that dream. And it was right after I had that dream, I actually had a phone call from an American TV company asking if I'd come out and make a pilot, which I have done, and now they want me to go back. So, to me, if you can touch the masses like that, then that message is going to mega millions, and that would be a great, significant thing for me to be able to do. Because the older I get, the more it is a teaching rather than just a demonstration of mediumship.
Because I sort of looking back at there was a documentary on. I think it was on one of the mainstream channels. I can't remember if it's BBC or ITV. It's called The Psychic Barber.
BBC.
And is that kind of what really got you into the sort of spotlight in the mainstream, doing that?
I mean, before that I toured anyway, doing demonstrations of mediumship, but it wasn't the first TV thing I'd done, but it was the first one that went kind of nationwide, and they sort of repeated it, and it got really good feedback from the public. And one of the amazing things about that particular documentary was the amount of men that actually tuned into it, and the amount of men that would come and see me work after that went out.
Yeah.
And I think that happened because there was a little bit of science in it, that men love science. So when they would actually see that, oh, here's this medium guy, I was in the university taking part in tests, and they loved it. The guys just were like, wow, you actually got up and did those tests? And I said, yes, why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
And of course the tests were really good. They concluded pretty well in the programme, so I think that got a lot of men, because men like to see proof. So even whatever else I was doing, they were actually looking at the science behind it and thinking, well, this medium's not afraid to put himself out there and have a challenge. And as I said, the results were good. So that got people hooked. And I think that actually made people very interested, because I wasn't afraid to take a challenge.
Yeah. I mean, also, it's a fair-sized audience when I was watching that show. So, I mean, you was obviously very big in what you were doing. I mean, for me, when I watched it, I remember sort of casting my mind back, it really sort of got my imagination going, thinking, this guy is so accurate. He's not, like a household name that I've heard of already, but he seems to just... Because the one thing that is always really sketchy when you hear mediums talking is giving concrete names that seems to be so spot on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there is a difference, though. I mean, some people... I mean, I've been offered probably more television than all the mediums that are on it right now. And I just refused a lot of it because it was too show business, or you had to jump through certain loops, which I would say, no, I'm not going to do that. You see? So, because to me, you had to keep your integrity.
Yeah.
And if you lost your integrity, then, I mean, as I say, Channel 4 have asked me to go and do challenge programmes with Darren Brown. ITV, BBC, both have offered me very clever programmes, but each one would have to be filmed in ways that I wouldn't be happy, because it wouldn't be live. And the way I work best is when I'm filmed live, because that's the best way to work for me. So in front of a studio audience where you have to keep cutting, can we do that again? Well, I'm afraid if I don't do my thing in the moment, it won't work again. I couldn't go up and repeat it a second time. So, I mean, I'm really kind of fair with TV people, and I tell them that up front, and a lot of them think, oh, right.
Yeah.
So, you mean you can't do it to order? And I'll say, no, honestly, I can't. So,
yeah. So at the time, was you balancing the hairdressing still at that time?
At that time, yeah. And I mean, I'm no longer cutting hair. I mean, I now have written 8 books, and I tour a lot with my books and the theatre tours and things. But I mean, then the hairdressing was my life. So And that was something that a lot of people really couldn't understand, that I could actually do all of this, tour America, tour Australia, tour South Africa, tour this country and still cut hair.